Kyle Brandt is from here. You see him on Good Morning Football. He's hugely talented, and most importantly, is a Bears super fan. And he joins us right now on Waddle and Silvy, as we're calling it Happy BJ Day.
See, now I would draft you number one just because of that handle. I love that. I haven't had one of those days in a long time. I can't speak for you guys.
Well, us too.
You know what?
Right. Exactly.
Listen, I'm sitting here in New York. I'm sitting in my car in a parking lot. I just dropped my son off to basketball. It's 2 degrees. Every New York sports fan around me is miserable. They're jerks. They're kicking things and being pissed off. They have nothing to be happy about. I get the news. I am so shocked. I am so excited. And dare I say, I'm so proud of the Chicago Bears organization. I can't believe that they are going to hire this guy. They got the girl. Like the nerd got the girl in the 80s movie. It's unbelievable. I can't believe this happened.
So Kyle, you don't share any of the concern that some had about him not having any previous head coaching experience.
Who's saying that? Who's saying they need to celebrate BJ Day? What are we doing? We've had so much to be miserable about. This is an incredible. I actually still can't believe it. I was just lulled like everybody else. All the weird names, all the obscure names, all the small names. My brother texted me the news. They hired Ben Johnson. I was convinced that they hired the disgraced Canadian sprinter, Ben Johnson, to be the head coach. I'm like, there's no way it's the Lions guy. It's the Lions guy. Aren't you in shock? I can't believe it.
This is the guy that I like many, wanted all along, specifically, Kyle, because of how much they've invested on the offensive side of the ball. I'm looking for our Kevin O'Connell, our Sean McVay, our Matt LaFleur. And hopefully this is the guy, a guy that's done a ton in Detroit over the last 3 years. Hopefully he can take our offense to where the Lions have been most recently.
Can I give you, I made a list about 2 weeks ago, a list of 4 things that I wanted from the head coach. And I'm going to give them to you. See what you guys think. Jump in, interject, whatever you want, of course. Number 1, I just said offense. There's something about this organization's fabric that I still think is in love with defense and the lore of the past, and they love defense. I don't care. I want offense. It's how the rules are. It's where the teams are going to win offense. Number 2, can they just get the big fish once? Can you not make an alternative choice? Lure in the big fish and get them. I remember vividly when the Eagles had let go of Andy Reid, the Chiefs were hiring Andy Reid, the Eagles were getting Chip Kelly. It's like, wow, all these cool coaches around, and they hired Matt Eberflus. And it's like they always seem to want to zag. They didn't zag here. They got the big fish. That's 2 for 2. Number 3 is a controversial point on my list. I wanted someone, I can't use the word on the radio, but someone who's kind of a jerk. All right? Someone who's got an edge on them. John Fox, Matt Nagy, great guys. Matt Eberflus is Ned Flanders. I want someone who has that Mike Vrabel edge to them with the media, with the players, with the opponents. Maybe it's not such a congenial handshake after the game if you lose to the Packers again, or if you beat the Packers. Number 3, and then number 4 is also offense. So offense, big fish, jerk, and offense. Guys, I think we're 4 for 4. I don't want to call Ben Johnson a jerk. I just think he's what they call a red ass. I think he is not out there to make friends. I absolutely love it. I think it's 4 for 4. I'm very pleased.
Does he have mild jerk face, do you think?
Oh, no. No, I think he's a handsome fellow.
Well, no, I know. You can be handsome and still have kind of a jerk face, can't you?
Kyle, what do you think? Does he have jerk face?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what the word is? It's punchable face.
Yeah, right.
And I've been accused many times of having a punchable face, so I can't cast any stones on that one. I like someone who has a punchable face. The only thing I don't like about his face, someone pointed us out today, it's probably online. He does bear kind of a striking resemblance to Adam Gase. He does look like Gase, and that's not great. So if he has the introductory press conference and looks like he's on acid, then we'll have a problem. Yeah. But until then, handsome man. Listen, this guy took Jared Goff. God love him. He's not the most talented guy in the league. He took the Lions, who are just an absolute crap for decades, and they're doing trick plays. They're fast. They're aggressive. I love it. And I just think he comes into House Hall, and there's just toys lying around. Toys that want to be played with, toys that are expensive, toys that no kid has ever. It's like Andy's room. Pick up the toys and play with them, and he knows how to play.
Yeah. Kyle Brandt joining us. It's Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000. We believe that this is validation for Caleb Williams, that this is Caleb Williams solidifying Ben Johnson for the Bears. And yeah, you give the credit, like you said, to the front office. They did what they needed to do. The nerd got the girl. But we also believe that if they don't have Caleb Williams, they probably don't get Ben Johnson. Would you agree?
100%. He saw him this year. He saw them at least once in a situation the Bears should have beat them. And the other thing I like about it, and this pertains to Caleb as well, I think that the Bears chose Ben Johnson. I also think Ben Johnson chose the Bears. Like, this is a guy who is the belle of the ball. You hear that the Raiders want him, and Tom Brady's going to bat his eyelids at him, and he's going to bring him to the desert, live in Las Vegas. That sounds pretty good. And he said, no, I'm going to go with the Bears. And either they convinced him or they're paying him. But it's all the things the Bears have been accused of not been doing, that they're not closers, that they're going to be cheap. He had any job he wanted. He took the Bears job. And it's, by the way, now he goes against the Lions twice a year. I have Lions fans text me, be like, what the hell, Ben? You just turncoated us. Good. And now he's going to beat you. It's just every single part of it is a win. And Silvy, tell me if you agree with this. Maybe he falls on his face. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work. It's still a good choice. It's an inspired, bold choice. They could have gone with Mike McCarthy. They've already hired Mike McCarthy. It was John Fox a few years ago, a guy on his third team today. It's a safe choice. This is not a safe choice. It's a bold choice, and that's the Bears right now. It's awesome.
That's what we wanted. We wanted them to swing for the fence. They could have had the high floor, but they're going for the home run. And let me ask you this. Like, you sound super charged up, and we've talked during the year, and you and I have gone up and down with this team. It was like Waddle played. So as much as he lives and dies with the team, I don't know if he's like a fan like we are with roller coasters. Sure. Was this the most extremes you've ever been on, from picking Caleb in Rome to the expectations of the season to 4-2 to the Hail Mary to the 10-game losing streak? But now it sounds like this one hiring has brought you right back to optimism.
It does feel that way. And what you're hearing in my voice right now, it's intoxicating that this happened, because we are all so miserable if we're Bears enthusiasts, and so just assuming the worst. I was ready. I was refreshing for them to hire a defensive retread. I thought they were going to hire Brian Flores. That's just like, that seemed like the Bears hire to me. I'm so surprised. It's so exciting, because it was a ridiculous season. And I think, you could do a whole offseason worth of shows. Maybe you guys will, about what was the worst part. And I think you've kind of done that show. It's probably all last season. I think it was the Packers game when they got the field goal blocked. I think that the one at home was the worst part, because they had that game won. And I don't think that Bears coaching staff had the balls to finish that game. And when I look at Ben Johnson, he's still calling trick plays against the Commanders at the end. He's trying everything. The guy's got a pair on him, and he's not going to, if they lose, it's not going to be because he was a little timid or the clock management, or let's just play. This guy unleashes hell, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll go with that, man.
How he builds out his staff is also important to me. Can I sell you on a Dennis Allen as the DC, or maybe a Ron Rivera, two guys with a lot of experience?
You can, and I'll tell you why. I think there's an exclusive group of coaches that I call the Norv Turner All-Stars. They are excellent coordinators and just not ready for the varsity. They don't make it as head coaches, but damn, you want them as a coordinator. And listen, we might find out that Cliff Kingsbury is one of those guys. Yep. We've seen him be a hell of a coordinator, not that great of a head coach. Someone like Dennis Allen, yes. Coach the defense. No, don't be the head coach. We've seen it a couple of times. It doesn't work. There's no shame in that. It's a great thing being a coordinator in the NFL. So those guys, look, I know Ron personally. We know the history, of course, and I think he would coach the hell out of the defense. Either of those guys as the coordinator, yes. Now, head coach, at this point, not interested. Robert Saleh, at this point, not interested. But coordinator, hell yes, because they have a head coach. Now get somebody to clean up on D who maybe has been a head coach, but it really is in the Norv Turner club.
And it takes also somebody that's comfortable in their own skin to be a DC, having been a head coach, and not have any type of ill feelings towards the current head coach.
100%. And listen, if it ends up being Ron Rivera, who, again, I've gotten to know pretty well, I'm sure you guys know him, and Waddle especially, like, there's not a better person. There's not a more modest person. It's incredible background, incredible family. Like, if he does it, hell yes, Ron Rivera, let's go. But you're right. There has to be a security, especially if this guy, Ben Johnson, really is cocky, the smartest guy in the room, especially then. And I think he is.
Oh, were you worried about Tom Brady at all and him meddling?
Yeah, of course I was. Yeah, I mean, it's like Brady just kind of gets what he wants. Like he's an owner and he's a broadcaster and he gets paid and like he's God on football earth. So hell yeah. And by the way, part of the surprise of this is I know many of the insiders and I know many of the people you guys have been talking about at the end. I know them personally. Anytime I would bounce something off them, anytime I'd say Ben Johnson, typically it was, oh no, that's going to the Raiders. That Brady's going to get that. If Brady wants him, Brady's going to get him. Brady didn't get him. George McAfee got him. It's incredible.
Wow.
It's incredible. George McAfee 1, Tom Brady 0. Sew that on a pillow. It's an incredible thing that happened today.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right,
Can you believe that? What are we talking about
yeah.
here? I can't believe it.
Like I was trying to talk myself into it late last week because I was like you, Kyle. I thought for sure Brian Flores, Boston College connection, defense. They would bring over like someone like Josh McCown as the offensive coordinator, and they like him too. But I felt like they were really targeting and waiting for Ben Johnson, and hopefully they can get him players now because, as you know, a guy who used to run the rock, that you've got to get an offensive line for Caleb. It just can't end with Ben Johnson.
Free agency, draft, just O-line, D-line, D-line, O-line. Do it either direction you want. I don't care. Start with the D-line. Trade back if you want and get more picks. Like I think now they have all the toys and now they get the building blocks. Like I think he knows that. And look at Ben Johnson's offensive line. They have so many linemen that one comes in to catch passes occasionally off the sideline. Like they have linemen fish jumping into the boat. So they will. And imagine he doesn't have to come in and like draft receivers, draft on it. They got all that stuff. It's like a loaded bar, dude. Just start making drinks and go crazy. It's not some crappy team that just went 1-16, has the number 2 overall pick and no talent. This was a really talented team that couldn't win crap, and now you get to come in and coach them. That's why he hired him. The cupboard is stocked, man. Just start cooking.
And maybe he can convince Hank Fraley to come with him and be the OC, give him a bump up in title. Yeah. And Hank knows what a good offensive line looks like. These guys could actually help Brian Poles identify talent in the draft.
I know. It's all coming up wins. And are we being myopic? Of course we are. I just said we're intoxicated.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Been 6 long months of nuclear winter, and I cannot believe it ended with this. It was the kick to the groin that Mike McCarthy was going to be, for me personally, is just nauseating. And Mike McCarthy is a very good coach, and he'd get them the train on the tracks and all that stuff. It's not the point. It's just that is a retread, and it's not only a retread, it's a retread who spent years with the Packers kicking the Bears' asses, and it feels hypocritical to hire him. I had my rant ready for McCarthy, and now I'm just going to shred that thing because Ben Johnson's here, and I still can't believe it's true. It's really, really cool, and I'm just listen. It's fun to think positive. It really is.
Yeah, it's a good day. You should still send that out to what that rant would have looked like just to see, just like in the alternate universe. This is what the rant would have been. We're heading in a different direction. Kyle, you do great. You do great work. We love talking to you, and let's go from here. Good things ahead.
Yeah,
hopefully.
happy BJ Day. Yes. Enjoy it.
Hey, look out. I got to go. On that note, got to go home.
See ya.